In high school, my friends and I had an unusual hobby. Unlike typical teenage troublemakers, we weren't vandals, drug dealers, or bullies. Instead, we liked to terrify new parents by hacking their baby monitors. We were insufferable little punks who thought we were untouchable and that our mischief would never catch up to us. However, one night, I learned a harsh lesson and realized I wasn't as invincible as my teenage ego led me to believe. Dimitri, Kurt, and I went to the same school, shared many classes, and hung out almost every evening after dinner. We watched prank shows, played video games, and talked about which girls at school we found attractive. One evening, we were exchanging scary stories at the park. Kurt recounted the classic tale of a single mother who heard a haunting voice on her baby monitor. Like most horror stories, it seemed like total nonsense, but Dimitri insisted it had happened to his mom once. She had heard a neighbor singing to her baby through her own monitor. Apparently, it was possible to tap into someone else's frequency accidentally. Suddenly, a light bulb went off in each of our heads. Without needing words, we knew we were all thinking the same thing. We were going to buy a baby monitor and mess with people. Hacking a baby monitor is child's play. You just need to find a device on the same frequency as yours. Never one to do things half-ass, I bought a high-end monitor with a frequency dial so we could prank as many targets as possible. The next night, we rode our bikes around the neighborhood and found our first victim. We could see the nursery through the second-floor window of a suburban home. Dimitri grabbed the monitor and began tuning it to different frequencies until we heard breathing. Excitement coursed through me as our plan took shape. Dimitri pressed the button and began exhaling heavily into the receiver. "Your little girl was delicious," he murmured in a demonic voice. The master bedroom light turned on almost immediately, and we heard a shrill scream. Laughing hysterically, we quickly rode off down the street to avoid getting caught. We repeated the prank several times over the following weeks, taking turns talking through the monitor. To avoid suspicion, we chose different houses each time. People's reactions were priceless. Some mothers responded in panic. Others seemed to know it was a hoax and told us to shut up. And one poor woman even started sobbing uncontrollably, begging us not to hurt her baby. Now that I'm older, I feel bad about that last one, but it was hilarious to me back then. My friends and I mimicked her high-pitched bawling and desperate cries for mercy for weeks afterward. Yeah, we were real jerks. Karma's a bitch, and I got what was coming to me one night. Kurt and Dimitri were busy studying for midterms, so I went out on my own. We had pranked almost everyone in the surrounding area, so I decided to venture across town into unfamiliar territory. Finding a target wasn't difficult. Look for cars with baby seats, houses with cartoon-themed curtains, or toys left in the yard. I found a house that fit all three criteria and parked my bike out of view. Playing with the tuner, I eventually found the right frequency. I could hear a baby snoring lightly. A devious smirk crept onto my face, and my heart pounded with excitement. It was my time to shine. "I am watching," I whispered into the monitor, using the creepiest voice I could muster. The house remained dark and lifeless. I figured the homeowners hadn't heard me. "I stand over your bed watching, waiting. I will get you," I said, louder this time. Nothing. Just the sound of crickets and the occasional roar of a car passing by. It was odd. Parents usually reacted much quicker. I began feeling nervous and exposed. You know, like when you suddenly realize someone's watching you. It was getting late, and I had a long bike ride home. Just as I was about to give up and leave, I heard a strange, moist gurgling sound from the monitor. The rhythmic snores ceased, and I assumed the baby had woken up and was about to cry. Instead, a man spoke to me. "You're the one being watched now, Juan," he said softly. My stomach dropped at his words. How did he know my name? I felt sick. Something was very wrong, and I could feel it in my bones. I glanced up at the nursery window and saw a silhouette standing there, watching me. Had he been there the whole time? The air felt thick and difficult to inhale, though maybe fear was making it hard to breathe. My body quivered uncontrollably as a sense of dread poured into every inch of me. I climbed on my bike and pedaled desperately to get away. Part of me thought I was overreacting, but the overwhelming need to flee overpowered my rational mind. "You can't run. I know where you live, Juan," continued the man, even as I turned the corner. I flew down the street, not stopping until I reached a busy boulevard. Surrounded by cars and a few late-night joggers, I felt safe. "Your hoodie will run red with your blood, boy," whispered the man, still talking through the baby monitor in my pocket. A passerby gave me a nasty look as I yelped in fear, practically ripping my hoodie off in my frantic attempt to remove it. To the stranger, I must have looked like some kid tripping on drugs. He didn't know I was in genuine distress, so I don't blame him for walking off with an insulted huff, though I wish he had offered to help. After stuffing the hoodie into my backpack, I noticed my name scrawled on the back. It was my school jacket. No wonder that guy knew my name. It then occurred to me that baby monitors had a fairly short range, so he was obviously nearby. I nervously glanced around to try and identify my stalker. Was it the empty-looking van down the street? The guy walking his dog? The car that had just driven by? Either way, the last thing I wanted was to hear that voice again, so I turned off the device and started pedaling home. Fear heightened my senses, and I began to notice every motion of the trees in the breeze, every crackle of twigs under my wheels, and every car that zipped past me. I flinched whenever anyone came near, paranoid that the man from the baby monitor was going to catch up. Fortunately, I made it home without incident. I parked my bike in the garage and crawled up to my bedroom. In one careless motion, I tossed my backpack and the baby monitor in the corner of the room and dove under my sheets like an Olympic swimmer. It doesn't matter how old you are, nothing feels safer than being under your blanket. I closed my eyes, hoping I'd calm down enough to catch a few hours of rest before class, but then I heard static coming from the monitor across the room. The monitor that was supposed to be off. "Sweet dreams, Juan," said the voice that still haunts my nightmares. I didn't sleep a wink that night. I was too frightened to get out of bed until sunrise. When I did, my first order of business was to remove the battery from the monitor and throw it in the trash. I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. I came up with an excuse to give my friends so they wouldn't think I was a coward. With massive bags under my eyes, I got dressed, had breakfast, and went to school. A few days later, I saw the house on the news. In an interview, a police officer explained that the family living there had been found in their beds, their necks slit open. I had been outside when it happened. The killer had heard me on the baby monitor and decided to mess with me. It was a wake-up call, and I thanked my lucky stars that I hadn't been killed. I was too busy feeling thankful for my survival to feel bad about the family that hadn't. Empathy, like wisdom, comes with age. Now that I'm an adult with a wife and daughter, I truly understand the consequences of my actions and the severity of the situation I put myself in as a stupid teenage boy. That dreadful night, I thought I had experienced the pinnacle of fear, but it was just the tip of the iceberg. As a father, I now know that fear thrives and multiplies when there's something more precious than your own life at stake. I can't say for sure if the killer found me again after all these years or if some new breed of idiots had the same idea as my friends and I, but I can tell you that I now understand what true terror is. Last night, I heard something on our baby monitor that sent chills into my very soul, shackling me with a paralyzing fear that I doubt will ever leave me. I'm still watching.
Alright guys, thanks for tuning in tonight here with the Night Hawk. Tell me what you think. If you like, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. I will be posting another story tomorrow for you guys. And again, always remember, he's watching.